Hello, social blueprinters. Today we are interviewing Chloe de Winter. Chloe has had an adventurous time starting an online Pilates business during COVID and another new business. So please, to come and see the full interview, go to socialblueprint.org.au, where you will also see all the upcoming events in our community. Hi Chloe, welcome to the Social Blueprint.
Thank you for having me.
Now, you have had a really unfolding adventure in your life since COVID.
I have, yes.
Can you possibly share with all of us what's been going on and where you're at?
Yeah, sure. I mean, everyone has a good COVID story. Everyone's gone through a lot. I'm not going to pretend that what I've gone through is unique, but I guess there's been a lot of big life changes for me since COVID happened. So I'll give you sort of a bit of an overview. Pre-COVID, I was living in New York with my now husband. We had just got married. We'd flown back a few months earlier at the end of 2019, got in quick before we even knew what COVID was, which was really lucky. Got married, went back to New York. We're expecting to be living there for another few years. I'm a physio, my background's physio, and I was working at a Pilates studio over there. And we were living there, came back to Melbourne for a couple of weeks because my sister-in-law was having a baby. We wanted to come and meet the baby and see family. And while we were here, which was the start of March 2020, was when the world shut down. And New York was sort of first off the ranks of shutting down. And we were seeing all over the news that everything had shut down and the city was in lockdown. I woke up to an email one morning, looked at my phone from my boss in New York saying, "The studio's closed, you no longer have a job." And I just panicked at the time. And looking back on that now is so interesting. But anyway, when you're at the bottom and you're so low, the only way is up, I guess.
Yes.
That was the beginning of what is now my online Pilates business, Go Chlo Pilates. So I, at the time, sort of hopped on the online bandwagon pretty quick, launched a YouTube channel, started some Zoom classes, and it really gained some traction. Initially, I've got to say, like, the Jewish community was huge in really supporting me at that first point.
The Australian Jewish community?
Yeah, the Australian Jewish community. And that was pretty incredible. Someone had posted about my online Pilates very early on in a Facebook group that was set up at the start of COVID with resources, and a lot of people jumped on and really supported, which was pretty amazing. And over time, that has really evolved as a business. So now it's an online subscription platform with over 300 Pilates videos. So that I run half of my time, but then from a work perspective, the other half of my time, I now run an underwear business with my husband, Phil, called Nala, which we launched in October 9 months ago. So my life is like, from a work perspective, Pilates and bras. But yeah, Phil and I, we actually like never went back to New York to live. We now live in Melbourne, in Prahran, and yeah, we say goodbye to our full-time life in New York.
So COVID meant you never went back?
Yes.
And you stayed?
And we stayed, yes. We were going to go back. I remember making the decision at the time whether or not to get on our flight back to New York. It was such a big decision at the time. Do we not? And I remember when we finally decided, okay, let's not get on our flight. Let's just wait it out. They were the words we used. Let's just wait it out, see what happens, not knowing that the waiting it out would be we're now 3.5, 4 years late. It's wild, but that's where we are.
How do you go from Pilates to underwear?
Yeah.
Is it bra specifically or bras and knickers?
Bras and knickers.
Okay.
I've got to get you in some, clearly. Bras and knickers. Yeah, that's a really good question. Basically, my husband at the time wasn't really sure what he was going to do with work. He had just left a job, wasn't sure. He comes from a sales and business development background.
Is he American or Australian?
He's Australian.
Okay.
Also Melbourne Jewish boy.
Mm-hmm.
And while on the hunt for some underwear myself, for some comfy bras and knickers during COVID, it was later on in COVID, not as early as Go Chlo Pilates, I sort of we recognized that there was a gap in the market for sustainable underwear that was cool and fun, but also really affordable. A lot of the sustainable brands out there were very earthy and soft, and there wasn't really something, especially in the Australian market, that really like screamed fun energetic and out there and bold. And so we decided to go into it together. So yeah, that's where the idea was born. We worked on it for about a year before we actually launched it.
And did he have experience? You said sales and marketing he was in?
Sales, business, not even really marketing, business development, sales background. He worked at a sports tech startup in business development for many years.
Okay, so
very different, also very different. But I guess when it comes to business development skills, marketing skills, you can really like adapt those skills to different.
They're transferable.
They're really transferable. So everything I learned with launching Go Chlo Pilates and starting a business, those skills on how to find new customers, new clients, to build a community, they're really transferable across different businesses.
Yes, very much so. So your husband, there's so many questions. You met your husband at school here, or where did you meet him in the Melbourne community?
I've known him for a very long time. He was the year above me at school. He was dating one of my friends when we were in high school, which I feel like is a common experience in the Jewish community. So I've always known him, but never really had much to do with him. Yes. And then, honestly, we just happened to be at the same place at a friend's holiday house, and I had a huge crush on him, and that's where things started off. And yeah, 6 months later, we were on a plane to New York together.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. And school was Scopus?
Mount Scopus, yeah, for secondary. I went to Garnerville for primary, and then to Mount Scopus for year 7.
Okay, lovely. And then physio, you always wanted to be a physiotherapist?
That's a good question. I found it hard to decide what I wanted to do in high school, as I'm sure a lot of people can relate. It's very hard to know what you want to do when you're 16, 17 years old. I knew I liked working with people, so that was the first thing. I knew I didn't want to sit in an office. I knew I wanted to be interacting with people all day, and I was always very interested in the health side of things, the science side of things. And one day my mum just said to me, how about physio? I feel like that could be a good career for you. And I had a little search online and thought, yeah, that actually sounds perfect for me. And I am really glad I did it. It's funny, I don't actually work as a physio anymore. I still use those skills with my Pilates business, but I in no way am treating clients, unless it's my husband who hurt his neck and begs me for a massage. But yeah, I am a physio, I guess. That's my degree.
But it does help in Pilates. I think it builds credibility.
Definitely.
So I'm also curious, how did you go from during COVID with the Pilates?
Yes.
You said you made it into a subscription. That's a really big jump from just doing Zoom classes. Hi friends, let's get ready for Pilates, to building a subscription. How did you do that?
Yeah, so that was very much about listening to what my clients wanted. So I remember the first Zoom class I taught, sold like 60 spots. It was like a pay what you want thing. I made hundreds of dollars in this first class, and I thought, wow, there is something here. I was like, this is going to be huge. But as you would be aware, as lockdown went on and on, people started to get very over Zoom. While people were very enthusiastic about working out from home and jumping on Zoom for that community connection, that lost its spark pretty quickly.
Yes.
And people no longer wanted to do that. They didn't want to connect to people on Zoom. It would tire people. It felt draining and not motivating at all. So I listened to people. At the start, a few people would email me and say, hey, I can't make the class. Is there any chance you're recording it and can send me the recording? I said, all right. So I started to build up a little bit of a list, and it started with 3 people, and then it was 10 people, and then it was 20 people, that at the end of the week I was sort of bulking all these classes together and sending off an email with, here's your next week of classes that I've recorded for you.
Right.
And then as time went on, that list kept building, and my live class numbers were slowly dropping because less and less people were signing up. And I realized that, okay, this is not actually what people want. This was a moment in time that people wanted these Zoom classes, but I don't think there's longevity in this business model.
Yes.
What people want is the flexibility to go on and pick a class when their baby's asleep, when they have a 30-minute lunch break, when they've got only 30 minutes before they need to get ready for work. They want to just have that ability to press play and do a class that they want to do. So I listened to that and then decided to move into this subscription-based model. So it was a really big it was a big challenge at the start because I had to build up enough of a library of classes and then offer it as one subscription offering, really. So I did that, and it was the best thing I did for the business. When I launched it, I remember being so nervous and saying to Phil, my husband, what if no one signs up? I was so nervous, like, just to announce it, but it was amazing because I had built a bit of a community of people who love my classes, and they were so supportive of me, and I'm so grateful for that. And they really jumped on board at the start and supported. And yeah, that's now what is running, and that's what I spend a lot of my time doing, creating content for the platform and challenges and different programs for my members and listening to what they want.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And what about equipment? Like, when I think Pilates, I think that bed.
Reformers.
Yes,
yeah.
That's what I think.
So 100%, but the reality is, for anyone who's done a reformer class, it's not cheap. If you go to a reformer class, it'll cost probably between $30 and $45, depending on where you do it, and that's in a group setting. If you do a one-on-one session, it's going to be even more expensive. So my offering is mat Pilates. It's not reformer, but it means that you can do it at home with minimal equipment at a really affordable price.
Yes.
So using things like hand weights, and if you don't have, I always say grab water bottles or wine bottles, or even like peanut butter jars. Someone once told me they used a candle as a weight, which I thought was quite creative. But all really easy to use equipment. I use resistance bands, which you can buy from Kmart, things like that you could do at home. Still get the same effect at home, but just without the machines.
Yes.
But I do love reformer classes going once in a while. So yeah, I do respect and have a lot of love for that form of Pilates, but what I offer is sort of a more accessible at home version.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And to leap from Pilates to the underwear. Now, I know you said you went looking for the right underwear, but how do you start an underwear business? Do you use yourself as the model? Did you start doodling at home? Did you hire somebody to do the doodles for you? How does that work?
So at the start, we knew we wanted to do really comfortable underwear. So that was going to be, we had an idea in our mind of what we wanted it to be. So rather than going like really like out there lingerie, we had a vision. It needs to be comfortable. It needs to be something you need to wear every day. It needs to be something you reach for again and again, not something you wear once and then ends up that you never actually reach for in your underwear drawer. And then you need to find people that really understand how technical this stuff is.
Yes.
So constructing a bra, I could sit at home and doodle it, but it takes people who really know what they're doing to actually build and construct it. So we made sure that we work with people who understood the industry. So we used connections that we had, we tapped into those people, and we work with those designers to construct and work on the designs.
So you were fortunate you had contacts.
Yes.
Have you got a desire to design only non-underwire bras or underwire bras, or any of the above is okay?
Any of the above is okay, as long as they sort of hit our non-negotiables. Comfortable every day, make you feel good, feel sexy, and really affordable pricing and sustainable fabrics.
Okay.
Also, if you look at our website, all of our marketing is very out there and bold and strong. We have a really big focus on inclusivity, and I know everyone sort of throws that word around, we're inclusive, but we try and build that into the brand and into the products as opposed to just from a marketing lens. So we're very size inclusive. Our bras, you can be an A cup, or you could be a trans woman who doesn't have breasts who can wear our products. You could be an H cup. We go up to H cup in our bras. So really big boobs will cater to you, have really supportive products. And a lot of women who have bigger busts aren't used to being able to buy a bra for $59. They're used to getting custom fitted at a bra specialist and having to pay upwards of $150, $200 for a bra.
Yes.
That's a very common experience. So we really wanted to change that and really disrupt that. And we also do gender inclusive products as well. So we have products that are gender neutral and that cater to the trans community as well.
Amazing that you've thought of all of that. That is incredible. And the name Nala, how did that come about?
Oh, I'm not going to lie. It was really hard to come up with a name. We actually had another name for the business, and then we ran into a trademark issue, which is, it's really hard. Coming up with a business name is so hard because you could think of a name and you could think it's the best name in the world, but someone anywhere around the country could have come up with that business, and it might be a business that doesn't even exist, but if they've trademarked it,
Yes.
then you're in trouble. You don't want to risk it. So we had a name, we did all our branding, we did everything, and then we ran into a trademark issue and we had to change the name, which launched this whole exhausting process of trying to find a new name. It was honestly a really hard week. I couldn't look around the room without thinking, could that be a name? Like I would have been like, is Cup a good name?
Yes.
Is Pen a good name? Like it was. But we landed on Nala, which we love.
Good.
But
it doesn't stand for anything.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. I liked Nala because everyone loves The Lion King. Everyone has good connotations with it. Nala was the queen of the jungle.
That's
nice.
That
yeah,
is
exactly.
Great.
But yeah, we just liked it.
Great. And sourcing your materials? Is that because you're saying it's environmentally?
Yes.
So are they recycled materials? What is it?
Yeah, so we use, at the moment, we have two main fabrics. So one of our fabrics we call Bio Butter. It's made from a bio-based fabric. So most fabrics use petroleum, which is to make, which is not renewable, whereas our fabric uses cornstarch, which is a renewable resource, which is much better for the environment. And then our other fabric is our mesh. We call our flossy mesh fabric. So it's sheer fabric. And that is used, that uses recycled offcuts from when you produce clothing. Textiles, there's lots of offcuts that usually just go to waste. So basically, they use all those offcuts and they make it into this recycled nylon, which is our mesh. I know you learn a lot.
And that would have been hard to source, I imagine.
It is hard to source, but I must say that as the world of fashion is trying to become more sustainable, this is a huge industry.
Yes.
More and more fabrics are popping up that are more sustainable.
Gotcha.
So even when we were looking at fabrics now, almost 2 years ago when we sort of started the process, there's a lot more on the market even today because more and more companies are saying, we want this, we want this, we want this, which is a really positive change.
Very.
But yeah, it's hard because often you're presented with two different options, say for fabrics. You could go with this fabric, which is a lot cheaper to make, or you could go with the sustainable option, which costs double as much. And so now that I'm in this world, I can see why people go for the non-sustainable option because it's so much easier to do, because it's so much more cost effective. You can bring your prices down, your margins up.
Yes.
But if you put a bit more effort into it, you can usually find really good, high quality, sustainable options that maybe aren't double the price.
Yes.
Because if I even say to you, like, before I started this, I always thought sustainable means expensive.
Yes.
If you want to go sustainable, if you go to a purely sustainable brand, I know in my mind I think more expensive, but it doesn't have to be that way.
It depends on the sourcing of the fabrics.
Exactly.
Yes. So where do you sell your underwear?
We sell online.
Only online?
At the moment, yeah.
Okay.
Look your face.
No, that's great because it's just something that a lot of women like to try on, check the
100%.
fit. So you've obviously worked out a way that it works and you've obviously got a good return policy.
Yes, exactly. We knew that was going to be our biggest challenge, was most women want to try on a bra before they buy it. So good returns policy. We also offer free shipping Australia-wide. So you can go on and buy without like the pressure of, I don't know, having to pay big prices for shipping. So we do that. And then we also launched a very special fit guide on our website. I don't know if you've seen it, but if you go into the fit guide on our website, you're actually presented with over 30 images of naked, bare chests and breasts of all different shapes, sizes, genders, and you can go through and click on it and it will show you that person's body in two of the Nala products that fit their body, and it also tells you their size. So you can go through the library of chests and pick a body that looks like yours and see what the product looks like on a body that represents yours as opposed to just seeing it on a model. And so that has really helped to sort of break down that barrier of entry of women wanting to try on in person, because they can actually visualize what the product could look like.
Yes. And how many clips do you have at the back? Like standard is 3, but I've heard that now bra companies have more because then a B woman can wear a C, think she's a C, when really she's a B because she's just clipped it that extra far.
Yeah, we add so different products, we have different number, but yeah, we try and do 4.
Brilliant.
Because it just means that if you want to tighten it a bit more, you've got the ability to do that. So
Yes.
if you can, the more points that you can adjust your bra, the better, because it means that it will fit your body perfectly.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what's the website for that one?
It's called wearnala.com.
Where? WEAR?
Nala.com.
NALA?
Yes.
.com.
Yes.
No AU.
No.
Okay, terrific. And your Pilates one for anyone who might be interested?
Yeah, it's Go Chlo Pilates.com.
Go Chlo, and I noticed it had no E.
Go
Chlo.
Yes.
It's not Chloe, it's Chlo. CHLO.
Yes.
Pilates.com.
Yes.
No AU?
No AU.
No AU. Okay, that's a very global business when you can do that.
Yeah.
Now, before we finish up, are you involved with any charities in what you do?
Yeah, so Nala, that was one of the things we wanted to sort of embed into Nala from early on. So we donate 1% of all our sales to one of our 3 charity partners. They are the Equality Project, the Stars Foundation, and the Butterfly Foundation. And we give the customers the choice, the ability to choose which one they want to donate to. And then we do other campaigns like instead of doing big sales on our website on these big days like Black Friday and things like that, we do a buy one, give one, where for every order someone places, we donate a pair of underwear to charities. There's a charity called Share the Dignity. We did it with them twice, where they donate personal care products and period products and things like that to communities in need. So we donate hundreds of pairs of underwear so they can distribute it to people who need.
Lovely.
Yeah.
That's very much a feel-good thing.
Yeah, I think it's worked really well. It's worked well, and also enables the customers to feel good about their purchase as well.
Yes.
To know that part of their money is going to a good cause, or by buying with us, they're able to also donate a pair of underwear to someone in need. That makes the customer feel good as well. Yeah.
It sounds like Chloe has really captured, you've got the Pilates for yourself.
Yes.
You've got a business with your husband.
Yes.
And you're learning about business all
So
at the
much.
same time and giving to charity.
I've got to be honest, I didn't know anything about business before 2020. And I mean it when I say that. Really knew nothing. I was working as a physio and a Pilates instructor, and I was very happy, but it was very much a job that I would go to, I would work, I would leave, I would take holiday leave, go on holiday, come back. It wasn't a job I took home with me.
Yes.
I really didn't know anything about business, but it was a very steep learning curve. The start of 2020, lockdown, Go Chlo Pilates, online classes. I learned so much from there, and it's just been like a journey of learnings since then.
So if there's a message you want to leave to the audience, what would you like to leave with the audience about what's happened with you?
I think to really embrace new opportunities and don't be stuck in one thing, one career path. If you're not happy with something, there is a lot of opportunity to change. I never in a million years thought I would have a bra and underwear brand ever. But here I am in this job, in this role, and it is so fun and it brings me so much energy and fulfillment. I'm not saying it's easy. It is definitely not easy, and I probably have had more stress in the past year than I have had any time before that. But I think, one thing is just embrace new challenges. You're much more capable than you expect to be. Things can feel impossible at the start, but with time and with effort, you're able to break it down and you're actually able to accomplish a lot more than you think.
That's a wonderful message to finish on. So everyone, thank you for listening to this beautiful interview with Chloe de Winter. And we would like to suggest that you share this interview. Go to thesocialblueprint.org.au to see the full interview and to share it with friends. Thank you.